So many of you have seen this picture around in Facebook or Instagram, and I've been asked countless times on how to do this specific build. And if you don't know what this is, and if you've been living under a rock, this is a 75 millimeter completely DJI HD tiny whoop-ish, and it flies beautifully. Flies for about 4 minutes. I have no complaints on it. I can race with it. The only thing that is a bit less good is the nebula that's on it. It's the V1, so that means that if you intend to fly it outdoors, you're gonna have that problem where the sky is a bit like shown weirdly in the display. But for indoors and especially if you have LEDs, it's just beautiful to fly and race, and it's quite fast as well. You can compare this to a 65 build, and actually I can race them pretty well and have no issues in, like, you know, feeling underhanded or feeling disproportionate regarding the 65. So I fully recommend this build if you want to have like a DJI tiny whoop. Crazy world we're living in. And here is a part list, which then follows through the video on how you can build your own. Enjoy! Malay 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 malay. So what we need to start by doing first is cutting those top standoffs first from the frame, and you're gonna cut them straight down so all the top of that frame will be flat afterwards, just like you see now on the picture. And this is going to be used to then mount the DJI VTX on top. After that, you're going to start by flipping the frame around, and you're going to cut grooves on the same standoffs that you used to have, but on the lower part. So the idea will be that you have the standoffs that you had on the top part are actually going to be on the lower part of the frame, and this will be for you to attach the flight controller. So when you're done cutting this, you can then force jam the flight controller to actually be underslung in the frame, and if you manage to cut the grooves right, then you should be able to make the flight controller really secure underneath the frame, just like that. You will also notice that I put 2 screws into the previous holes where the standoffs used to be. So I need to poke 2 holes there and put two screws that are 1.5 mil, and those screws are going to connect directly to the base of the DJI HPV unit. So you have to take 2 screws out from the bottom of the HD unit, the 2 outermost screws, and those will fit right in directly with the flight controller. Now you can connect all the motor wires to the flight controller and flip the frame around. So here, what I've done is I've covered the top of the flight controller, which is much lower now, with a little bit of tape, so there's no shorts. And I've connected all the cabling that needs to go from the flight controller to the DJI VTX, which is now going to be placed on top of the flight controller. So once you finish mounting the DJI HD unit on top of the flight controller, remember to put those 2 side screws straight in through the bottom of the DJI unit. So those 2 screws that I just mentioned before, because that's what's going to secure the DJI unit to the rest of the frame. And once you have that, pretty much everything is secured. And what I like to do as well, if you notice, is that the USB-C connection from the DJI unit, I like to place it to the rear left that means that the antenna is also going to be placed to the rear left, and the connection for the camera is going to be placed in the front, as you can see here. So the last thing is to place the antenna, and I prefer replacing the antenna that comes with the Cadex unit, which it's alright, but it's a bit too bulky and it's hard to assemble, with this one. And this is a B-Brain Clover antenna, UFL as well, and left hand too, and it's just so light, and it gives me the same range. I haven't had any issue with it, and it just makes the build a lot nicer and a lot cleaner. The very last step is to find yourself a Whoop canopy, and you're gonna poke 2 holes on the sides of that canopy that match exactly where the top of the sides in the DJI FPV unit are. And you can use the same screws that the DJI unit still has, so the only thing that you need to do is to take those 2 side screws from the DJI unit off, put the canopy on, mark the holes, poke holes with anything like a hot iron or something, and then you will just need to force the camera to fit through the canopy camera hole in the correct orientation, obviously, and then just put the 2 side screws back, which will then connect to the DJI FPV unit on the top. Also, what I like to do is, so that the camera, which is going to be rubbing a little bit under the on the DJI unit, I like to put a little tape just underneath the camera, just so cabling doesn't get crashed or too hot. And of course I took it to the more insane level by adding a TBS receiver on it. Obviously the board, depending on what board you use, you can use whatever receiver you want. But I just, because it flies for 4 minutes, I just thought, well, then I can just pretty much fly this wherever I want to, whenever I want to, and it, without upsetting any people. And it's just such an amazing tiny whoop, really, that allows you to see the world that we saw before in analog, now in HD, and it's just, I have no words. So because I have no words, why not just watch these couple of videos that come next, and you'll have a general idea of what I'm talking about. And the videos that you see are directly from the DVR of the goggles, so this is exactly what I'm seeing when I'm flying. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, show it to your friends so they can also build their HD Tiny Whoop if they can afford it. It is not that cheap, unfortunately. But maybe one day we will have a 65 HD Whoop that flies amazingly. I think this is not yet the time. The Cadex system is a bit too heavy, but who knows in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. There will be more videos on this. I'm doing tons of projects related to Tiny Whoop, so expect to see more crazy stuff in the future. If you're not subscribed, remember to subscribe, all that malarkey, all that jazz. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. I will see you later. Bye bye.